So, good morning, everyone. Lovely to see you all. I think there's some great examples in what Paul talked about, very specific examples about what simplicity means. And I very much want to pick up in some ways where Paul left off, because simplicity can mean many different things. And I want to start by just understanding, in its broadest sense, what we might mean by simplicity. So simplicity can mean clarity. So a very complex concept like time equals money can be rendered and represented in a very simple way due to its clarity. It's very immediate, very easy to understand. Simplicity can mean purity. So something like a gold bar is a very pure representation of value. It's undiluted atomically, it's undiluted chemically, and it's very much undiluted in terms of the makeup of its meaning. So simplicity can mean purity. Simplicity can also mean beauty. So the exchange system that we have called money is an inordinately complex thing. But in the way that currency works, in the way that currency itself, those dollar bills are designed, yes, that complexity is orchestrated in an incredibly beautiful way, and as a result, it's very simple for us to use and to understand. Simplicity can also be a very positive thing. This statement is a very simple and very simple statement to understand, and it's all the more compelling for it. Or simplicity can be quite a negative thing. If you call someone simple, you might mean they're dumb or dumber. Simplicity can be very real. So the wheel, a real bona fide, very tangible example of something that is simple. Or simplicity might be a complete illusion. An iPad is very simple for us to use, but it is incredibly complex to design and build and produce. And so it's very much just the illusion of simplicity. Simplicity in this case is very much in the eye of the beholder or the user. So simplicity can mean many things, but it's fair to say it is essential. It is essential for the survival and growth of any organization. And I can't put it better than Jack Welch in some ways. So I might just read through something that he said probably about 20, 30 years ago now. For a large organization to be effective, it must be simple, but it's not easy. You can't believe how hard it is for people to be simple, how much they fear being simple. They worry if they're simple, people will think they're simple-minded. In reality, of course, it's just the reverse. So simplicity is fundamental, it's essential, it's vital, it can mean many, many different things. And I think the primary question we need to be asking ourselves as we try to understand what simplicity might mean for us in the future is, what is our brand of simplicity? Is it beauty? Is it clarity? Is it purity? Is it the illusion of simplicity, or is it very real and tangible? And who are we making it simple? Who are we making it simple for? So that's where I want to start. What is our brand of simplicity at Bankwest? Moving beyond that, well, let's consider some future scenarios. And these are incomplete, a little bit random, but very much some provocative thought starters for what the future might look like. And the first scenario I want to contemplate is reductive simplicity. So what do I mean by that? In simple terms, less is more. Everybody understands that concept. Complex, but everyone understands it. So one of my colleagues at FutureBrand recently wrote an article for Fast Company that talked about the brands of the future will consume less. So as you may all know, it's an article of faith in mass marketing, that you sell more products to more people. It's all about penetration and frequency. And that might have got us to where we are today, but in the future it's all about consuming less, because it's all about data and personalization, and not actually about flogging more product, oftentimes to people who don't really need it. The future actually looks like selling less in a more targeted way, so people get less of what they don't need, but more of what they fundamentally do need. So automotive brands will stop selling us cars and start selling us access to mobility services, just one part of which might be cars. Insurance brands, and many of them are doing this already, will charge us lower premiums based on individual behavior, not actuarial tables. And financial services brands will in fact help us spend less money within our means. So, less consumption might in fact mean greater loyalty, and I think puts a very interesting spin on something like MFI. And what does that actually look like? And how data and personalization might drive that in such a way that simplicity does convert into less meaning more. But what if less equals less? God forbid. So when we think about devices and technology, devices are fast becoming devoid of unique functionality. So things like the pinch to make something bigger or something smaller, or swipe right if you're into Tinder. Those sorts of functionalities are rapidly becoming quite similar. And it's a standardization process that we're currently going through to the point where the functionality will become universal and standardized across everything that we do. In which case, is less actually less, because everything starts to look and feel the same, because we all don't want to relearn functionality every time we use a device, in the same way as QWERTY keyboards now dominate the way in which we use keyboards and type. But the same thing happened in automotive. Standardized functionality, every car's pretty much the same, but nobody thinks about cars as just getting me from A to B. It's all about personality. It's why cars are designed the way they are, with their happy little smiling faces on the front grille. So when functionality drops off, well, personality surfaces. And this was a challenge that was put to me just earlier in the week by one of the Google execs. Why can't trees talk? For him, he finds it incredibly frustrating that if he wants to find out what a tree is, he has to take a photo of it, search it in Google Images, and then step 3, finds out what it is. Why can't he just walk up to the tree and go, "What are you?" "I'm an elm." So not only will functionality become devoid of those unique features, it will actually disappear. The best technology is completely invisible. So not only will there be no unique functionality in the future, it will be invisible. In which case, personality is the thing that we have to surface. So less will not be less if there is more personality. And that's what people need to feel. That's the interface that we need to build. So embrace simplicity, but surface personality in the way in which we engage. But, I hear you say, life is complicated. I know. We love it that way. This is an artist who a few years ago kind of deconstructed in a very neat and orderly fashion different aspects of nature. Fruit salads, trees, the universe and stars. And it looks a little bit weird. It looks a little bit unnatural. And that's because we love complexity. And it won't go away. It's part of our human nature. It's part of our world. So yes, we must embrace simplicity, but we will also have to learn to love complexity. And it's those two dynamics together that will really shape the way in which we can make banking easier for our customers and for ourselves in the future. Thank you very much.